Hi, this is Dorothy, your English teacher. Before we begin the video, I want to know why you are learning English. This way, you can build a strong community together. Here are some options. A. To travel. B. To find better job opportunities. C. To connect with people around the world. D. To access information. E. Any other reason? Please share your reason in the comments below. Let's start. My name is Emma, and I am from Italy. I came to Chicago to learn English. I felt both excited and nervous because I had never been to Chicago before. When I arrived at the airport, I felt a mix of emotions. The city was large and busy. I took a taxi to my new apartment. The buildings were tall, and there were many people everywhere. When I reached my apartment, I met my roommate. Her name is Sarah, and she is from Canada. Sarah is also learning English. We quickly became friends. We both felt happy to have someone to talk to in our new city. The next day, I went to my language school for the first time. The school was close to my apartment, so I walked there. The streets were lively, and I saw many interesting things. There were street vendors selling snacks, people rushing to work, and tourists taking photos. At the school, I met my teacher, Miss Anna. She was very kind and welcomed us warmly. In my class, there were students from different countries. I met Hiro from Japan, Maria from Mexico, and Sam from Egypt. We all wanted to learn English. Miss Anna started the class by introducing herself. Then she asked each of us to introduce ourselves. When it was my turn, I felt a little shy, but I took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my name is Emma. I am from Italy. I am here to learn English." Everyone smiled, and Miss Emma said, "Welcome, Emma. We are happy to have you here." After the introductions, Miss Emma talked about the course. She said we would learn English by using it every day. We would speak, listen, read, and write in English. She told us that practice is very important and not to worry about making mistakes. Making mistakes is part of learning, she said. In the afternoon, we practiced speaking in pairs. I partnered with Hiro, and we talked about our country and why we came to Chicago. Hiro told me he loves video games and wants to work in game design. I shared that I enjoy painting and want to become an artist. It was a good conversation, and even though we made mistakes, we helped each other learn new words. After school, Sarah and I decided to explore our neighborhood. We found a small park nearby. We sat on a bench and talked about our first day. Sarah said she liked the class and the teacher. I agreed, and we both felt more confident about learning English. In the evening, we cooked dinner together. We made a simple rice dish. As we cooked, we practiced English. "Pass me the salt, please," Sarah said. "Here you go," I replied. We laughed and enjoyed our meal. The next day, we had a listening exercise in class. Miss Anna played a recording for a conversation between two people. We had to listen carefully and answer questions. At first, it was hard to understand everything, but Miss Anna played the recording several times. Each time I understood a little more. After the listening exercise, we had a reading activity. Miss Anna gave us a short story to read. The story was about a girl who moves to a new city, and it reminded me of my own experience. We read the story together and then discussed it. Miss Anna asked us questions about the story. which helped us understand the text better and learn new vocabulary. In the afternoon, we did a writing exercise. We had to write a short paragraph about our favorite place in our home country. I wrote about a lovely mountain near my hometown. It has soft green grass and fresh air. Writing in English was challenging, but I felt proud of my work. After school, Sarah, Hito, and I went to a coffee shop. We wanted to practice speaking English outside of class. We ordered our drinks in English and found a table. We talked about our day and our plans for the weekend. It was fun and helped us feel more comfortable using English in real-life situations. On Saturday, Sarah and I decided to visit some famous places in Chicago. We took the subway to Millennium Park. It was amazing. The tall buildings and sculptures and the busy streets were all so exciting. We took many pictures and even bought some souvenirs. Next, we decided to visit the Art Institute of Chicago. It was nice to walk around and see the beautiful paintings. We saw people enjoying the art, taking photos, and having fun. We found a quiet spot and sat down to rest. Sarah and I talked about our families and our homes. It was a good way to practice English and get to know each other better. In the afternoon, we went to the Museum of Science and Industry. The exhibits were fascinating, and we learned a lot. We tried to read the information about the displays in English. Some words were new, but we helped each other understand. It was a great learning experience. On Sunday, I decided to study. I wanted to review what I had learned in class. I read some English books and watched a movie with English subtitles. I also practiced writing by keeping a journal. I wrote about my experiences in Chicago so far. Writing helped me remember new words and practice sentence structure. In the evening, Sarah and I cooked dinner together again. This time, we made tacos. We talked about our plans for the week. Sarah wanted to find a part-time job to practice her English more. I thought it was a good idea and decided to look for a job too. The next day at school, Miss Anna taught us about English grammar. We learned about verb tenses and how to use them correctly. It was a bit difficult, but Miss Anna explained everything clearly. We did some exercises to practice, and I felt more comfortable about using different tenses in my sentences. In the afternoon, we had a speaking activity. We pretended we were in different situations, like at a restaurant or a store. I was paired with Maria from Mexico. We practiced ordering food in a restaurant. It was a fun activity and helped us practice real-life conversations. After school, Sarah and I went to the job center. We looked at the job listings and asked the staff for advice. They were very helpful and gave us some tips on finding part-time jobs. They said working in a cafe or a store would be a good idea to practice our English. We filled out some job applications and left our contact information. I felt nervous but also excited. I hoped to find a job where I could use my English and learn more about American culture. That evening, I called my family in Italy. I told them about my experiences in Chicago and my new friends. They were happy to hear that I was doing well. I missed them, but I knew I was learning a lot and growing as a person. The next few days at school were busy. We had more grammar lessons, listening exercises, and speaking activities. I could feel my English improving little by little. I made sure to practice every day, even outside of class. One day, Miss Anna asked us to give short presentations about our countries. I was nervous but prepared as well. I talked about Italy, its culture, and famous places like the Colosseum and the Leaning Tower of Pisa. My classmates enjoyed my presentation. I felt proud of myself. Giving the presentation helped me practice speaking in front of a group and improved my confidence. On Friday, Sarah and I got a call from a cafe we had applied to. They wanted to interview us for part-time positions. We were excited and a little nervous, too. We prepared by practicing common interview questions in English. We helped each other and gave tips on how to answer confidently. The next day, we went to the cafe for the interview. Emily, the manager, was very kind. She asked us about our previous experience and why we wanted to work at the cafe. I explained that I wanted to improve my English and learn more about American culture. Sarah said the same. Emily appreciated our honesty and enthusiasm. She decided to give us a chance and offered us a trial period to see how we would do. Sarah and I were thrilled. We thanked Emily and agreed to start the following week. That evening, we celebrated our success. We cooked a special dinner and invited Hiro and Maria from our class. We talked about our jobs and our experiences in Chicago. It was a fun and relaxing evening. As I went to bed that night, I felt grateful for the opportunities I had. Chicago was a large and busy city, but it was also full of chances to learn and grow. I knew there would be challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them with a positive attitude and a smile. My journey in Chicago was just beginning. I was excited to see what the future held and how much more I could learn and achieve with my friends by my side and my determination to succeed. I knew I could make the most of my time in this amazing city. On Monday, Sarah and I started our new job at the cafe. We were both excited and a bit nervous. The cafe was cozy and had a friendly atmosphere. It was located in a busy part of the city, so there were always many customers. We met Emily, the manager, and she introduced us to our new colleagues. They were all very nice. And for the second part of the story, let's take Hazel and Isabella on a deeper journey through their experiences in New York City. We'll dive into the emotions, memorable moments, and the bond they're building through shared adventures and dreams. The sun was peeking through the thin curtains of their shared apartment when Hazel woke up to the sounds of the bustling city below. She stretched and smiled, realizing another weekend awaited her, filled with new experiences in New York. She and Isabella had plans to explore the Brooklyn Bridge today and perhaps, if they had the energy, find another charming cafe to spend an afternoon discussing everything they'd learned and experienced so far. After a quick breakfast, Hazel and Isabella headed out, joining the pulse of the city. The bridge loomed ahead, an iconic piece of the New York skyline. The walk was filled with both awe and laughter as they took photos capturing the beauty of the skyline. For a moment, Hazel paused, letting the view sink in. The vastness of the city, the river flowing below, the blend of old and new in the buildings that stretched high into the sky. Isabella nudged her gently. "Can you believe we're here, Hazel? Just a few months ago, we were both planning our lives back home. And now, here we are, in the heart of New York." Hazel nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude. "It feels like a dream. I used to imagine myself here, walking these very streets." She smiled and gazed out over the river. "And now it's real." They continued to a small cafe nearby, drawn in by the scent of fresh coffee and pastries. Inside, they practiced their English with the friendly barista, taking a moment to laugh and enjoy the warmth of the place. It was one of those little moments that made their adventure feel special, small but meaningful. They took their time, talking about their experiences, and soon the conversation turned towards their books. "I bought this yesterday," Hazel said, holding up The Catcher in the Rye. "It was challenging, but I'm really enjoying it. I even keep a dictionary close to help me with the tricky words." Isabella laughed. "I did the same with To Kill a Mockingbird. Isn't it funny how learning a new language brings us closer to the stories? Every new word feels like a tiny victory." They agreed to finish reading their books and discuss them soon. It became a little tradition between them. Every weekend, they would pick a book or an activity to bond over, to share, to explore together. They had come to New York to learn English, but what they found was a world of connection and discovery far beyond language. The following week at school, Miss Lily introduced them to idioms, expressions that went beyond the literal meanings of words. Hazel was intrigued. The idioms added a layer of richness to the language, a playfulness that allowed her to express herself in new ways. Miss Lily's warm encouragement made the lesson even more enjoyable, and Hazel found herself laughing with her classmates as they tried to create dialogues packed with idioms. One evening, after her shift at the cafe, Hazel told Isabella, "Today I told a customer it's raining cats and dogs," and they laughed. It felt good to actually use what I'd learned. Isabella laughed along with her, placing a warm hand on Hazel's shoulder. "You're doing so well, Hazel. Who would have thought? Look how far you've come." Later in the week, the school hosted a cultural exchange day, allowing each student to present something special about their home country.